video, we're gonna do a forward roll. And this will just be a very basic forward roll, how I would teach a beginner from a young kid all the way through adult. I like to follow the same pattern for how I do my forward roll. There's lots of different ways to do forward rolls. This is just how I personally teach them. To get started, we're gonna start in a kneeling position. I put my fingers together, and the next step I like to call touchdown. For touchdown, I'm gonna touch the floor with my hands, and I'm pointing my elbow the way I'm going. So it's important, if I roll on my right shoulder, that right elbow is pointing where it goes. I also like to use the phrase, point your toe the way you want to go. So if I was going in this direction, I want to make sure this toe is pointing in the direction I want to roll. If it gets crossed up or angled sideways, it's going to be very hard for me to roll in that straight line. So I want to point my toe the way I want to go. So to get started, kneeling, fingertips, touchdown. Next thing I would like to remind students, always tuck your chin. And we're gonna go ahead and pick up that back knee. One thing that's important is that my hands are next to my foot. Sometimes people like to reach out way in front. That's gonna make this harder. So to make it easier, go ahead and put those hands right next to your foot. If I pick my back knee up, I should be able to push off this foot and get like a rock and roll motion. I'll do this from the side as well. Kneeling, fingertips, touchdown. Of course, I'm gonna tuck my chin, pick up that back knee, and I should have that rock and roll motion. So that's how I like to start to get in the shape of a roll. The next thing we're gonna do is actually do the roll. So we do the roll, we're gonna start on the back of our shoulder, and we wanna go down our back on a diagonal line to our opposite hip. Kneeling, fingertips, touchdown, and that's my forward roll. So now, let's talk about coming out of the forward roll. When you come out of the forward roll, there's two main things that I see happen. The first one is that you're going to come up in a kneeling position. Let's see what that looks like. So in this forward roll, I get started the same way. Fingertips touchdown, tuck, and when I do the forward roll, my kneeling leg is going to tuck into my chest. So when I come up in that kneeling position. So that would be one way. A different way would be, instead of tucking it, is extend it, and you come up in a side break fall position. Of course, I start the same way. And I just extend that leg to come up in that side break fall position. I hope you have fun with it. Practice strong. See you on the mat. Tung Soo.